Hi, this is Marina from Darkstar Astrology, bringing you the mystery chart of the week. Now, I don't know if this is going to end up being a series, we'll see. But whoever gets it, the first person to email me will win a 3-month subscription free of charge for Darkstar. So anyway, so here's the chart, and I'm going to kind of read it as if, would we choose this chart as being like an electoral chart? Like, would we elect this chart as the start of a business or some kind of venture? Is it a fortunate, auspicious chart or not? Now, obviously, there are going to be people born on this day as well. So, but we're looking at it purely, and it could be a person. But I mean, I'm going to look at people or countries or corporations as well. So it could be any of those. But I'm trying to sort of look at it. I think this is a good exercise as looking at something from as unbiased way as possible. So now with this chart ruler, really important. So in electoral astrology, the chart ruler has to be in good shape. And would we pick this chart? So now, chart ruler is Venus, and Venus is quite strong, and it is also in a kind of mutual reception with Saturn as well, who's very strong. So that's probably a good start. Everything's in the 9th, so publishing, travel, that's huge as well. But Venus itself is in the 10th, which is, status out in the world. It's probably an okay chart in terms of starting something. And also Uranus technology in a trine with Mercury as well. That's working with the media very well as well. So technology in the media is good. And also the moon, we have to look at the moon too. The moon's position is, well, that's Peregrine. But it's on Deneb and Adigi, which is in the Swan. Winged creature. It's okay. That's all right as well. Now, so Venus on Armus, that's criticism. That's the nagging star. But it's the main thing is that huge stellium in the 9th house. So, and also we do have Pluto and Saturn on an angle. I mean, it's quite close. So that you're not supposed to have Saturn and Malefic so close to an angle, but it's not in the 10th house. So that's not too bad either. But we do have Mars in the 7th house, which gives it more power. And, Mars is pretty strong, actually. It's stronger than Venus. And Mars is anger. It's actually on its own as well. It's not aspected by anything. So that Mars is a bit of a problem. It's in Ptolemy, which is the wounding Chiron. So that's to do with being wounded. Maybe sharp objects as well, inflammation, fevers. So that's Mars. I think it's interesting that Mars is like a singleton there, all on its own in the house of open enemies as well. So that's something to consider. The Ascendant is Hamal, which is the horns of Aries. Again, sort of, I don't know, pointy, aggressive star. It's hard to do this without revealing what I know about it. But it's interesting because to me, it's more about the stellium than those trines. But the trines are kind of useful. The part of fortune is on the North Node in the 3rd. Again, communications. I don't know. I think we need to look at the Lunar Mansion. So the image for it's the 27th one. It's called the lower hole of the flask. So it's a winged man holding in his hand an empty perforated vessel. In our image, a winged and crowned figure wearing a long robe stands holding a chalice and a bone Around him I mean, this is quite nice. Springs, pools and trees. Behind him is a starry sky, and it's all very lovely. But Christopher Warnock says it's a kind of a mix of a this is the weird thing. It's a mix of nice and good, because his keywords are ruin of resources, possible damage, obstruction, endangerment, hindrance, and malice. So even though it looks kind of nice, there's malice behind it, which is kind of quite, I think, descriptive of what I know of this. So yeah, he says, how can it be good for revenues and gains yet have a malefic talisman? Is it benefic or malefic? It is both, in the sense that one person's gains at another's loss. Right, yeah, that makes sense. We are wise to stay cognizant, I can't say that word, of the fact that when this mansion appears, our gain is another's loss. So, are we blinded by the passions and desires of the ego for more and more at the expense of the true self? So, yeah, it seems like it's a kind of, greedy materialistic one, I guess. The Picatrix says, in this mansion, make images to increase merchandise and to acquire profit. Yes. To unite allies, increase harvests, heal illness, and to destroy whatever riches you wish. To impede the building of buildings and put peril, this is interesting, put in peril travel on sea and in air now, I guess. To prolong the incarceration of captives and to do whatever evil you wish. There you go. So I think that fits, actually. That's why I like these lunar mansions. They always have something really profound to say. Because from what I know of what this is, and looking at the chart, I was thinking, well, it's not as, because it is quite evil in some ways, but it's not as bad as, I would have expected to see a sort of T-square or something a bit more, evil or dodgy. But it's kind of a mixed bag. That Venus is the ruling planet, and it's all right. It's quite strong. It's good for technology. But yeah, there's lots of winners here. There's lots of people gaining things here, but there are people will be lost as well. And I think that Mars on its own, Mars in Scorpio, very strong, but it's in the house of open enemies as well. So there's strong division here on both sides, because if you think of the first house as being one side and the seventh house is always the opposition, the gainers will be the Venus, and Venus is in the 10th house of status, whereas the losers are Mars, but Mars is very angry, but it's wounded as well. It's wounded. So now, the sun is on Faces, which is the penetrating stare of the Archer, and it's a really ruthless star. And it's interesting that it's on the South Node as well, which is Rahu, which is really malefic as well. So I think that describes it quite well, the situation. And also, it's funny because Jupiter's there too. But Jupiter is actually, is pretty much combust. Is it combust? The sun. So the sun is overpowering it, really. And obviously, Saturn and Pluto are on the midheaven, which is quite a bad omen as well. So it seems, when you first look at it, you think, oh, that's okay. Venus is the chart ruler. She's in good position. She's in good shape. But if you look at it closely, I think the sun on Ruthless Faces, which is a sharp instrument, by the way. It's the penetrating stare as well of the Archer. And by the way, when you look at the lunar mansions, the sun is on the fortunate assassin. I don't know why they list all the other planets, because they don't really count. It's only it's the Lunar Mansion. That's the whole point. So it's the the houses where the moon is. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. There's lots of planets on the fortunate assassin as well, which is kind of what Faces is about, really. It's the Archer. So yeah, and also talking about the Archer, Sagittarius is also the ruler of the 8th house of death as well. Just another thing to put into this. But I think I'll leave it there. So if anyone can guess who this is, then another clue as well. There was also an eclipse just before this as well. It was quite a very important eclipse too. And the I'm giving it away too much, so I won't say too much more. But we'll talk about that in part 2. Okay, so thanks for listening. That's the mystery chart, and take care. Bye bye.